It's week 1. There's anticipation for just about every game going on, but there's some games that people choose to look past. One of these games was Eagles versus Patriots. The Eagles were coming off an incredible year, while the Patriots really had nothing going for them. People viewed this as a lock for the Eagles to win, but the Patriots were one toe tap away from victory. But that's fine. After this game, we at least knew that the Patriots could be potential dark horses to win a few more games than we thought. In week 2, they had the Dolphins. Once again, a game they had many chances to win, but ended up losing. But still, a lot of people, including myself, hadn't lost faith in this team and believed in them even more going forward. They predictably beat the Jets in week 3 and had everything going for them to potentially upset the Cowboys, is what I thought at the time. We all know what happened in this game, and it was very embarrassing. The worst loss in Bill Belichick's career. But it was okay, just one off game. They had the Saints in week 5, who the Patriots could defeat if they put together a good game. But a good game was far out of reach. Within the span of 2 weeks, Bill Belichick suffered the 2 worst losses in his career, and the Patriots went from potential dark horse to complete disaster. But how? How does a team go from being within 1 score to 2 of the best teams in the league to completely falling apart? This is just the current state of the NFL. Okay, there are a lot of factors I didn't take into account when talking about the Patriots. Of course, one of these factors is quarterback play. Mac Jones was never really a good quarterback to begin with, but damn did he fall apart fast. He was benched in both of the last 2 games, which is never a good sign. Week 4 was really when things started going wrong for the Pats, and it was against the Dallas Cowboys. Up to that point, the Cowboys were in a weird spot. They absolutely destroyed their opponents in week 1 and 2, and lost to a team in week 3 that people predicted to be the worst team in the NFL that year. But the case of the Cowboys isn't the same as the Patriots. The Patriots completely fell apart after just one bad game. But as much as I hate to say it, the Cowboys did what most great teams would do, and they bounced back in week 4 with another convincing victory. And this honestly says a lot about the difference between bad teams, good teams, and great teams. Bad to average teams might have a few good games, but more bad than good, and usually they can't really come back from bad defeats. The Cowboys are a case of a good team, a team that lost horribly but rallied back the week after as just about every talented player on the team stepped up. But that's obviously not the end of it, because if the Cowboys were a great team, a Super Bowl contending team, they would carry this momentum into week 5 and keep up with the best team in the league. I guess not. To be honest, the Cowboys aren't the only team in this position, but it's just that they manage to do this every year. They finish the year with a great record, but crumble against great teams. But this year, they have a difficult schedule going forward. So if the trend stays the same, the Cowboys will continue to beat down on bad to average teams like the Giants and get destroyed by teams like the Chargers, Bills, Lions, and Eagles. We've looked at 2 different teams in very different positions. But what separates the best of the best from everyone else? First of all, the best of the best don't really lose. The 2 best teams in the league, the Eagles and 49ers, are undefeated. But what about a team that started the year by losing a game that they shouldn't have lost? How do they rebound? The Kansas City Chiefs have done this many times in the past, and it's just what makes them great. They might start off a season with a rough start, but they find their stride in a matter of no time. The Chiefs started off this year with a loss versus the Lions, but since then have rattled off 4 straight wins. Now we can't just ignore some major hiccups along the way, such as a bad game versus the Jets. But the Chiefs will always find a way to win big games because it's just who they are. Now the last case on the spectrum of NFL teams are the teams that are completely unpredictable. These teams usually end up like this because of inconsistent quarterback play. These teams might include the Cardinals and Commanders, but I want to specifically talk about the New York Jets. The Jets have had to ride with Zach Wilson ever since Aaron Rodgers went down with an injury. Let's just be honest and agree that week 1 was kind of a miracle. It was an all-time terrible Josh Allen game, and the Jets' offense wasn't really that good. Once again, we've talked about this. A great team would carry this win into the next week and continue to succeed. Unfortunately, the Jets aren't a great team entirely because of their quarterback. Zach Wilson was awful versus the Cowboys and the Patriots in the following weeks. In this case, a bad team would just continue to crumble. But this is where the unpredictable factor comes in. From getting blown out by the Cowboys and playing horrible versus the Patriots, to being so close to defeating Kansas City. Zach Wilson was playing like it was college again against Kansas City, but then came the Broncos. Zach Wilson didn't play great, but he didn't make any terrible mistakes either, and the Jets finally found a formula for victory by running the ball with Breece Hall. After an insane start to the season, the Jets find themselves 2-3 and still have time to really find their offense and keep the team on the right track. I'll be honest, categorizing NFL teams into 4 different categories isn't really a realistic thing to do. Week in and week out, there's so many confusing situations and confusing games and confusing teams that really just can't fit into a category. But so far this season, I really feel like these are the 4 categories that every team could fit into. And there's possibly a 5th category where it's like the Chargers and Vikings, who are really just teams that are really good but find ways to lose games. But either way, it's only been 5 weeks. A lot of this is going to change anyway, and it's really going to be hard to make predictions based on trends that have happened so far because so much is going to change over the next few weeks. I'm sure one of the teams that have a really good record right now will end up completely crumbling and fall out of the playoffs, and a team with a record under 500 will skyrocket their way into the playoff race. But other than that, that's what I can take away from the NFL this year. It really just feels like the NFL is a league of momentum. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the best teams will find their way to the top one way or another. That's going to do it for this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this throughout the whole course of the NFL season. I'll see you all in the next video.